Uh, so I don't normally do this. It's almost 9:30 at night on a Sunday, and I gotta go to work tomorrow. So it's gonna make tonight and everything a little interesting. But there are moments when you kind of feel like you gotta say something. You can't just post pictures and all that. We've lost a lot of really, really great people this past year, in 2017. And it's funny, these are people we never met and we didn't know, but they had an impact on us because we watched them and we knew them, and we felt like they were part of our lives. And we've lost a lot of them this year. John Hurt, Roger Moore, Adam West, Mary Tyler Moore. I mean, some pretty big names. And, I felt each one of them. But tonight feels... It feels really, really almost like you lost a member of the family. If you're not a wrestling fan, you might not know Bobby the Brain Heenan. He was a manager and an announcer, and he was a big part of my childhood. I remember watching him and hearing his commentary when he was an announcer. He was one of the funniest guys. If you've never watched wrestling and you don't know who Bobby Heenan is, you have missed out. Because this guy was so damn funny and so good. So he was a manager. So for those who don't know, he basically was a mouthpiece for wrestlers who couldn't talk as well or whatever. And God, he was like the Lou Costello of wrestling. He had comic timing that was flawless. He knew exactly how to make an audience hate him, and yet you hated him, but you loved him at the same time. He had this fat face and this chubby body. You came out, when you were a kid, you loved chanting Weasel, Weasel, because he hated being called the Weasel, so you did that, and then you loved it when Hulk Hogan or the Ultimate Warrior, someone got their hands on him, and they'd give him a hit, and he'd go flying. And he was especially funny when he was on commentary. Later in his career, he started doing commentary with Gorilla Monsoon, and the two of them, again, were like the Abbott and Costello of the wrestling world. You could just listen to their commentary. You don't even have to watch the match. Like, if you just get audio of their commentary, it is literally like listening to an Abbott and Costello radio program. It's so well done. I always remember he said, I forget, I don't think it was with Gorilla Monsoon, I think it was when he was in WCW, and he was announcing a match with Tony Schiavone, and he said, you just remember, Schiavone, if a man reaches out to shake your hand, you shake it. Oh, well, that's good. And then you hit him real hard when he's not looking. There's this wonderful story I heard on a Taz's podcast about Bobby Heenan. Mike Tenay was telling it, so I might misquote it a little bit here. So you'll pardon me. And it was Bobby Heenan, and he was going to the IRS to fill out his taxes. And he's in line, and he goes up to the lady in line, and she says, "Okay, what's your profession? What do you do?" He says, "I'm a wrestling manager." He goes, "Oh, okay, so you arrange the hotels and all that?" He says, "No." Say, "Oh, so you must manage the money. You must make sure everybody gets paid." "No." It's like, oh, so you make the travel arrangements? I says, no. She's like, well, what does a wrestling manager do? He says, basically, I distract, I annoy, and I pass the brass knucks. And that was Bobby Heenan. I mean, he was that funny, and so quick. And again, you know, I'm sitting here. I mean, I didn't know this man. Never met him in my life. But came along at a certain point in development, you know. And certain people, certain celebrities, TV stars, movie stars, singers, authors, they kind of imprint on us when we're very young, and they're somewhat responsible for who we become, for good or ill. You know, I credit the Muppets with that. I credit, you know, Abbott and Costello and Mystery Science Theater and that kind of thing. And professional wrestling's a big part of that for me. You know, people can laugh at it, they can mock it, but it's a big part of who I am. And Bobby Heenan was the best of it. You know, there have been a lot of wrestlers and a lot of people, and a lot of professional wrestlers sadly have passed on, and you can't say all of them were good people. You just can't. You can't lie to yourself. Some of them are downright horrible. And but Bobby Heenan was this guy that he played someone horrible, but you've never heard anybody say a bad word about him. You always got the feeling like he was the right kind of bad guy. When you were watching him as a kid, he was a bad guy that you knew he was despicable and he was bad, but you knew kind of deep down the way he played the character, like, you know, like he was just some sad little kid. You know, you always got the feeling he was this kid that got picked on a lot in school, and he was kind of getting his revenge on the world. You know, Bobby Heenan was the best of professional wrestling. Maybe he wasn't the best wrestler. He was a wrestler in his youth. You know, but he was the epitome of what was good about wrestling. You know, he was that epitome of, you know, I could sit and watch it with my friends or my dad. And you could cheer and boo and laugh and have really good times. And when I think back to the best times I had as a kid watching wrestling, Bobby Heenan was always a part of it. And again, this is someone I don't know, but I honestly haven't felt this sad since Jim Henson died. For that a celebrity, obviously. But in terms of celebrities, there have been a lot of great ones that have gone. We lost a lot last year. We've lost a lot this year, but none of them are kind of the gut punch of Bobby Heenan. What's sad about it is, if anybody knew about Bobby, you knew that his health was failing him for a long time. You know, he had throat cancer. He had a lot of surgeries, and you know, he fought through it. You know, if you look at pictures of him, you know, back in, you know, kind of quote unquote his prime, and when I knew him, and when a lot of other people watched him, and you look at, you know, kind of what he was in the last years of his life. I mean, you can tell it is a stark contrast, and you know that, you know, he was probably in a lot of pain. So I guess, thank God, he's resting. But yeah. So yeah, Bobby the Brain Heenan, man. It's a hard one to swallow, and I thought Adam West was going to be the hardest one this year. I really did. I was really broken up over Adam West, but no, Bobby Heenan. That was the bitch punch, man. But I guess another way to look at it is, one, he's out of pain. You know, he's with Gorilla Monsoon again. You know, he can call matches. And I guess this sounds horrible to say, and I feel bad kind of saying it, but I think I should. Again, a lot of wrestlers have passed on, and again, not all of them under the best of circumstances. Sometimes foul play, sometimes drugs, sometimes suicide. So in a horrible way to say this, I really feel bad saying it. Really, it's nice to know that he passed on in a natural way with a natural disease. He lived a good life. He was a good man, and he left behind some pretty big shoes, and then nobody's ever been able to step up and take him. He's the one and only. He was the best manager, the best talker, and like I said, everything that was good about pro wrestling. If people say to me, "Why do you watch pro wrestling? It's fake, and all that," it's like, watch Bobby Heenan. That's why. So yeah. Again, I don't really know what I hope to accomplish with this, and it's not the smartest thing I've ever done in my life, but kind of felt like I needed to do something. So all I can say is, Bobby, you don't know me, but you were a huge impact on my life. You're responsible for a lot of great memories, and I can't thank you enough for all the joy you brought to people's lives. And that's a wonderful legacy to have, to know that you made people happy. And he did. And he made them happy by booing them. That's got to take a special kind of guy, or person. It's easy to be loved and to have the fans love you when you're the good guy, but man, to have people remember you so much for being the villain, that's class, man. And so I just want to say thank you, Bobby Heenan, and Godspeed, and may you rest in peace, my friend.
Known you all my life, at least that's how it seems. Never known another way, living out a dream. And now I know you're leaving me, and I'll never understand. Before I let you walk away, I have one last demand. Tell me a lie and say that you won't go. Look in my eyes and hold me, even though I realize you have to go away. No more yesterday. Maybe we could stay together. Maybe it could last forever. Maybe if you just tell me a lie, maybe then we'll never say